Ah, a woodpecker. Good morning, it's John Neal here. It is Monday the 26th of August 2024 and I've come to Hartshill, which is just outside of Nuneaton, to fly my drone over the area. And I'll tell you why in particular in a moment. I would walk for miles in the hope of seeing your face. You can see across here to South Leicestershire. It's a similar view to from Hartshill Hayes, which is just over this way, the country park. And there is a ridge of land that rises from Nuneaton and goes off towards the west, towards Tamworth. And it's some very interesting geological formation. There's various rocks, which are very useful for the construction industry, particularly for roads and railways, because I think it's now been quarried again for HS2. There you go. But if you get the drone up, you can have a look around and see what's being quarried, because you can't see from down here exactly what's going on, but there's a considerable amount of quarrying going on again, which is interesting. But it doesn't really spoil the look of the place. We used to live here over 30 years ago. We were here for 10 years in Chalkboard Drive, just opposite the Hartshill Hayes Country Park. It wasn't a country park then, actually, it was just Forestry Commission. And it was a beautiful location. And as you can see, it's just wonderful here. And it's a lovely morning today as well. And this recreation ground was special too. I'll tell you what it looked like back in the day. Today it looks quite well manicured, actually. There's some very nice seats here, and there's not too much litter anyway. And you can see across here, when we were here before, these trees weren't as big. On this patch of ground here, there was some climbing frames and so on. One was a helicopter, I do remember. And our sons are now in their 40s. We used to bring them here and play on the equipment that was here. It was really, really pleasant. It's quite easy to wax lyrical about this area because Michael Drayton, a contemporary of Shakespeare, lived around in this area. George Fox established one of the first Quaker churches, meeting places, just up the road here, and the old meeting house. And down here and over to the left is where I've done some work before, a video about Boudica and coming to a nasty end with the Romans. And the A5 is just down here. It's full of history. And there have been Roman remains because it's quite an important area. I don't know much about geology, so I won't go into it deeply, but apparently the layers of rock sort of upturned slightly, so you ended up with very different ones on the surface. And there was clay and rock and coal and all sorts of stuff. And so it meant it was available to make pottery. And there's Roman pottery remains have been found here, and kilns as well.
That's all well and good, John, but when you're going to get that drone up in the air? And one of the first things you can see are the allotments to the side of Castle Road. But then as we swing round to the left, there is an old quarry full of water, and beyond that, massive quarries that are now being worked. And then as we swing round with Hartshill Hayes Country Park to the right, and you can just see Hartshill Church, and coming into view is the new secondary school building and Michael Drayton School on the right as well. Now turning more to the north, you can see the 300 acres of woodland which is Hartshill Hayes, and then further along the two distinct buildings, the roofs of the flats at the top of Trentham Road. Here's Trentham Road again, and behind the houses on the left is a big dip which is another old quarry. And then further on down the bottom there is Chalkboard Drive, where we used to live 30 years ago. Now we're looking straight down on Trentham Road, and you can see the big drop on the left where the old quarry was, and Nuneaton Road appears just here on the right. And finally we can see the cul-de-sac, which is Chalkboard Drive. Oh look, there's my house, as was. Now we're coming back over Cherryfield Close and Chalkboard Drive, and further down the Atherstone Road and the recreational ground just ahead at the top of the picture. And here we are, more or less back where we started from.
I'm going to make my way right across the grass in the middle of this recreational area. There's a very nice seat over here, which is quite new, and been a big effort and good effort by whoever's put it down here. King Charles III, 6th of May 2023. Very nice. Well, I suppose all is not rosy, because there are one or two things here, some features which are not as attractive. For instance, the main sewage works is just down here, and there's an animal rendering factory down here. It used to be called Demoulders. It used to be in the middle of Nuneaton apparently, until it was moved out here. I don't know if it's still there doing that work, but I can't smell anything from either of them, so there's no real bother with those. And we lived here for 10 years, and it was all sort of a blot on the landscape that they were here. Sometimes if the wind was wrong, it was like that. You could often hear blasting from the quarries as well, but none of this was terribly awkward for living here. It was just a really nice place to be. And I was sad to leave and go to Nuneaton, but it's easy to get here. It's only 10 minutes to come back again, and to go to Hartshill Hayes and enjoy the memories that we had from being here. Well, thank you very much for watching. That's really interesting. That it's a view I've wanted to take of this area for a long time from up above like that. So thank you very much for watching, and do subscribe, won't you? You know it's the law. You've got to do it. If you don't, it's illegal. And you'll see me next time. Okay, bye-bye.